hey, and thank you for clicking play. And it's a bit of an interesting episode, one I never thought I'd make. I have bought a MacBook Air, right? And this is take two, because I'm just going to get straight into why. And then I'll give you the background. So that if you're just interested in why a Windows user has finally jumped to Apple, this is it. And also what spec I've chosen. My use case, first of all, is I have a very simple YouTube channel. No fancy editing. I have been using Premiere and Photoshop mostly. Okay. The MacBook Air, the reason why, price has suddenly come down. So this now retails at 2,000 Australian dollars. And these were actually on discount at a couple of stores. So I got this for just over 1,700 Australian dollars. Okay, and this is the M4 MacBook Air with 16 gig of RAM and 512 gig of solid state storage. So price first and foremost. Finally, Mac have come down to what I think is a sensible price, and that made it an attractive buy. Battery life. I've been hearing, I'm sick of Windows laptops, and I now know they've now started to move towards ARM-based processors as well, and that will improve things. But I'm just sick of, a 4-hour battery life being impressive, and when you use it for more than 6 months, you're lucky if you get an hour. This is realistic. That's just, for a laptop, for a portable device in this day and age, that is not acceptable. These, I've heard people say, they can be editing in 4K and these are even the older ones, the M1s, for 8 hours, and they've still got battery left, and that just blows me away. Okay, I've never really liked Apple. I did have to support some Apple products in a design studio back in the 90s, but then that was sort of the crossover of, you didn't have to be using Apple to be into design and multimedia, because the same products were available and worked just as well on PC. So it really was a transition period. When it came to networking and file compatibility and font compatibility, well, it was a real pain. So I learnt, coming from the Windows side, to really hate Apple for being so incompatible and so difficult back then. They were mostly PowerPC infrastructure. I think the first enjoyable Apple experience I had was when our flatmate, a friend called Nick, brought home the very first iMac, and I played MDK on that, and also A10 Cuba, and that was a lot of fun. And as the first Apple product, I thought, ooh, hang on a minute. But there was no way I was going to shift over from my PC. We were just starting to slide into 3D accelerators and all of that kind of fun. And look, while I've never been a fan of Apple, I've always appreciated the effort that goes into making a good, solid product. That is always impressive, but especially during their Intel era, when you could compare apples with what was under the hood, the price barrier was just insane. So I just wasn't interested during that phase whatsoever. Okay, so why the 16512? Well, I did some testing on my PC, and I had Task Manager up looking at the RAM, and if I'm doing an export or even scrubbing or doing an export in Premiere, I've got 32 gig of RAM in the PC. It hovers around 8 or 9, or not even that. Okay, so then get Premiere exporting and open Photoshop to do a thumbnail, and it's still not pushing anywhere near 16. Open Edge. I've never felt the need to install Chrome on this build. Edge is fine, and it's much better than Chrome in terms of memory management. Open about 4 tabs, and I'm still only just pushing 10, maybe at a worst case 12 gig of RAM usage. So that was enough for me to go, and trust me, I have been on the Apple website looking at the thing. Should I upgrade it to 32 to future-proof it? Should I settle for 24? Should I add a terabyte of storage? We'll come to storage in a minute. And the nice thing about doing it on the Apple Store is I could have chosen a British keyboard, which I was tempted to do, even though I'm in Australia. But you can only do that on the Apple website. But yeah, on the back of that test, I settled myself in terms of I don't need any more than 16 gig. I've proven that. So 16 gig of RAM is fine for me, for my use. 512 is a compromise, I'll be honest. And so I would have loved a terabyte, but I'm not paying, what is it, 300 Australian dollars, or I'll put it on screen because I'll have a thing of the Apple website on screen so you can see at time of recording, okay, which is June 2025. I'm not paying that money. Now, I'm sure down the track they will release it with a terabyte, but currently not as a base or one that's available in major retailers. So that's a bit of a shame. So I did settle for the 512, but I've got a terabyte, just under a terabyte of video files on my internal mechanical hard drive in this PC. But that's a lot of legacy stuff, okay? And I'm happy to purge. I purge because the edit's done, the stuff goes in on YouTube, that it's finished. I'm not going to go back through. This is a hobby, okay? It's not a job. So my plan is basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects on the go. This will be absolutely fine because I generally use 1080. Even when I go up to 4K, if you go H265, then the files are smaller anyway. And when I feel the need to purge, what I can do, I will purge to an external hard drive. I don't want a hard drive hanging off this all the time because that defeats the point of getting a laptop, okay? So that's why. That's my use case, and I think I can make that work. Purge to an external hard drive, and then when I'm done with that, then I can purge that completely and rinse and repeat. Not a problem. Oh, there was one more reason why I jumped. Windows 10 to Windows 11, and we need to mention this, is the first time that I can think of in all my Windows history, okay, which goes, by the way, all the way back to, DOS 6.22, Windows 3.1, Windows 3, Windows 3.1, 3.11, 95, 90, I was there through all of that, okay, up to the present day. Windows 8, needed a touchscreen when that first came out. But here's the thing. In all of that history, this is the first time I can think of, and somebody can correct me in the comments, where Microsoft are forcing us to buy new kit. Okay? Yes, you could argue that sometimes you were forced to buy new kit because your old computer was too slow for the new version of Windows, and that's fair comment. But it didn't stop you trying. It didn't stop you installing, right? As long as you had enough RAM, obviously, and enough hard drive space. Whereas now, what we're looking at is basically because of one very small requirement, hardware requirement, you have to bin a whole heap of very capable PCs. This PC under here is fine. It runs Windows 10, absolutely fine, absolutely flawless, absolutely love this machine. It's forced me to jump. So instead of jumping, because it won't let me do the upgrade, I know there's workarounds, blah, 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 but you shouldn't have to do that. So that's the main thing that made me start thinking about jumping, and the legacy of the ARM chips going all the way back to Acorn, which is part of my computing roots in terms of being an Acorn Electron user. I know that wasn't ARM, that wasn't RISC, but it was the Archimedes later. But it's not. There's a nice tie back to that. So yeah, that's the other reason why I've chosen to jump after all these years. Let's have a look at this. So there you go. You would have just seen a sped up montage of me setting this thing up, hopefully removing any passwords, names, identifying data. But process was fairly fine. It seemed to take a while to set up my Apple ID. Looking up, that's apparently my internet connection that's the problem, not Apple's fault. We will see. And the battery is charging. Let's just have a look here. It's only been on for about half an hour, I guess. And we're at 35%. And 2 hours 30 minutes until maximum charge. And it's seeing my Wi-Fi and everything as well. Took a long time to connect to the Wi-Fi as well, which was interesting. Lot longer than any of my other devices, so not sure why. It's interesting given I've only just set this up. How much stuff is down on the dock? That's quite a surprise. So my first thing will be to clean this up. And just to let you know my way forward, I've got 1 more month left on my Adobe CS account. I have decided to use this as a transition, not just from Windows to Apple, but also from the Adobe suite to probably a combination of DaVinci Resolve and GIMP is my plan, and see how I get on with that. Simply because while I can afford Adobe Cloud and I get an educational, won't bore you with the details, but I get an educational discount because of where I work, but it doesn't make financial sense to be paying over 600 Australian dollars every year for something that I really only use for the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is a hobby channel and literally trickles in nothing. Right, it literally nothing. You only get a check if you've accrued more than $100. I can't remember the last time I saw a payment into my account. So that's how little it trickles in. That's not a complaint. It's a hobby. I'm not in it for the money. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So this will essentially pay for itself in, well, yes, it will take, about 2.5 years to pay for itself, but I don't think that's a bad deal. I may end up buying the full version of DaVinci Resolve, but again, that's a one-off cost of like $400 and something. So not a problem with that if I feel the need. So it's going to be interesting going forwards. That's why I've changed from Windows to Apple, at least for my laptop solution, so that I can now do editing on the go. The pain is I'm now going to have to buy a bunch of adapters so I can plug things in, but this also gives me an emergency device to use if I need to do, say for example, the podcast recording from another room, because that issue will be coming up quite soon. In fact, by the time you watch this, it will have already happened, so it'll be interesting to see if I've chosen to use this or pulled out my old Windows laptop and plugged microphones and stuff into that. It's going to be an interesting journey. That's all you're going to hear from me on this. So hopefully you won't see any changes in terms of the channel. But I will do an update in 12 months. You know, I don't think you always feel the need to justify your own purchase. So I don't think a review when you've just bought something is necessarily going to be the most honest thing, because you want to know that you've made good. 2 months is probably too early as well. For example, the camera I'm using right now, the Sony VF1 or whatever it is, SV1F, I would not buy another one. I would have simply put more money into a better phone. I think that camera that I'm looking at you right now on, while it's great to have a dedicated camera, was actually a bad money choice. So I'll talk about this more in 12 months' time. Thank you for watching.